Okay. Now, today is December 2nd, 22. I have my day program. We went and we did some, we do work with them. Um, okay. And then on the way back, I go in to Wendy's and Alliance with them. I have 9 of them. Okay. Sweet people that I help and have the privilege of sharing their lives and helping them further what they can do. Okay. We're in there, we're getting lunch as a group. 2 guys come in, and I thank God they don't understand what's going on. Thank God. They said that's the one that that church tried to have killed. He said, yeah. He said, she's always out working. I told you. And he said she's had to work for everything. He said it's that man. He's embezzled money out of this case from the start. He said that's what's going on and no one told on him. He's embezzled funds out of this case. He said, yeah. They walked out. Inside Wendy's in Alliance, right by the pop station, 2 men turn around and look at me. So, yeah, you can pull their tapes, and they got cameras inside. You should be able, plus my phone's bugged. Yeah, it is. I told you, November 30th, 22, I had went to Altman Family Physicians across from Altman Hospital. They have big old cameras outside. My phone's tapped too from the case. Michelle and her little gangbanger friend. It was my dad that was set up in there before. And it didn't matter. I was dating Dave. And da 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 da. And I know that kid's getting bullied at school because of this. She don't care who gets hurt. Her family is extorting over $250,000 from this case alone out of the federal government. In the witness protection program, your housing is to be paid for, your living expenses, all of them, and then you get an allowance to live on, okay? And you get a medical card. You have been part of some kind of horrible crime that you witnessed for the government, and it says for life in 24-hour police protection custody for life. And also, if you go into it, they cannot embezzle or attach any funds to it, just like Social Security and SSI and VA benefits. That's meant for only that person to be taken care of for being part of a case that was so bad they had to be put in protection custody and for witnessing against somebody. Okay? The government also paid out, what was it, 758 or 958 billion dollars protecting people. Billion. Okay? Hundreds of billions of dollars paid out to protect them and their housing and everything else. Because people like this will kill you. Okay? So that agent stealing over $250,000 is in a drop of bucket. Out of this one case alone, I cannot be the only victim. Yeah, where Dave showed up at that store and told everybody he didn't want me anymore. He was in there. And instead of arresting him, oh, she's a prime candidate again. And then we can get her directed right towards the FBI, where Dave said his family owned the girlfriend's family owned the police. It wasn't the police. It was that agent out of his area, up in that area. Michelle's dad, the young blonde girl, goes to Faith Family Church. My dad's FBI. He works the case, the pea sweater girl, the girl that says she had me beat and raped. Yeah, well, she's outside Altman Family Physician when I leave. See, I went to leave and my youngest son Danny came out and yelled for me. I went back in and Daniel and my grandson Daniel and him are in there. We're in there talking. Well, I'm sitting there talking to him and his body action, his behavior, he's getting sick, he's nervous, his heart's racing. He's scared to go to high school. He said it's only when he walks in that building. And so someone's bullying him. Well, they sold a login to this case, and one of his teachers a year ago said, or a little over a year ago, everybody knows what's going on but our family. Well, kids are horrible. These people are monsters to me. Could you imagine what they're doing to him in high school? Or for little freshmen? when he's like 6 foot, 140 pounds, he's a twig. Yeah, well, he's afraid to go to high school. And these people don't care who they hurt. And I'll tell you what, she comes out, and we all know that kid's getting bullied out of this. And it was my dad sent up in there. It didn't matter I was dating Dave. Yeah, it does. It's called conflict of interest charges, 1 to 10 years. For every constitutional right broke, 1 to 10. And you have, let's see, a freedom of speech. You also have a right to privacy, a right to remain quiet, a right to an attorney, a right to a fair court trial, bail, and bond, and a right not to be mistreated. So, yeah, there's a lot of jail time for that. And it all makes it not admissible. It's entrapment, honey. And you can't do it, and it's abuse and misconduct. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life, and they have to speak to everyone before they start, or it is abuse and misconduct. It goes into the right of privacy, illegal search and seizure. And that agent, they were talking about him badgering me or bullying me. It's actually legal badgering. The legal term is badgering. It's illegal to badger somebody. Department of Justice 1729 badgering laws. If you interrupt somebody while they're trying to give us a statement, you bullying them into some kind of something, it's badgering. You go to jail for it, they get hurt because of it. You go to jail longer. If you take a bribe for it, you get more. So where he called me a liar, made me confess I was lying, or he arrested me, when I was trying to tell a statement what happened at Huntington Bank on September 21st, 18, and the banker yelling at the Pizza Hut lady, and then that guy threatened to knife me, walks off with the Pizza Hut lady. And then Dave tries to call me back, and there's this big chaos under tape and audio right by Huntington Bank and at Huntington Bank and inside Giant Eagle in front of people. And he's calling me a liar. You either confess you're lying or I'll put you in jail. I'll arrest you. Hear there you say it. And he's screaming at me at the time until I finally just say it. Then he laughs at me and I have to plead for my life from that bastard. And November 24th, 22, Mercy Medical in the emergency room. The nurse walks up where Eric mocked him November 18, 22 at Walmart 62 between 2 and 6 p.m. by the hair salon. Screams it. There's a big old camera with tape and audio that he's screaming it into the hair salon how it was his idea to say they taped me before him to do the tapes, before it was all him, not me, confessing every crime, that it was his idea for all these people to fall for it. And he thought it was funny and it was all him, for them to all turn on me, and they actually went along with it and did it. Okay, and he's mocking him, mocking him like a jackass. Okay, so November 24th, 22, Mercy Medical in the emergency room. I had got food poisoning. I'm in there, and they're yelling at what is it? They're not, November 24th, 22, Mercy Medical outside my room. The nurse walks out and said, no one will ever say a word to her again. We all heard that Eric made fun of us for falling for this. Okay, where he yelled it all into the hair salon November 18, 22 at Walmart 62. Mercy Medical, the nurse is like, we all heard in the emergency room. Told the lady outside my room, we all heard that Eric made fun of us for falling for this, and that it was all him. No one will ever say a word to her again. And the lady responded, well, the agent that bullied her into saying she wasn't lying, that she was lying when she wasn't. She acknowledged I wasn't. And those men were so mad that he pushed her that far. They went ahead and ran experiments. I told them maybe she better not have permanent damage, that nobody finds any of this funny. Okay? And it's so bad that I found out nobody's even ever said anything really bad about her before. Now, it's actually that bad. Okay? Now, and this is where it's all, November 20th, 22, I'm in Central Baptist. I go into the bathroom, women calling me in, and they were talking that it's all over the supplementary income that they wanted. Well, they also have to pay for your housing. They have to pay for your living expenses. They also have to give you a medical card. So along with the 60 grand a year that he promised me for being an informant, they also have to pay my living expenses and my medical insurance. I've got nothing. And then I'm supposed to be in police protected custody 24/7 for all this is supposed to happen the rest of my life, so these people can't kill me. Okay? Police are not just paid perverts to sit around watching people in their homes. They're only allowed because there were all these rights in the Constitution. They cannot watch you in your home. It's entrapment. The only way that they can watch you is police protective custody, and they have to talk to you before they do it. It's private property. Even if you're just renting a place, they can't be in there. You have a right to privacy. You have a right to remain quiet. You have a right to an attorney. You have a right to a fair court trial, bail, and bond. You have a right not to be mistreated. You have a freedom of speech. You have rights. People forget we live in the United States of America. See, they have embezzled over $250,000 to $350,000 just out of this case alone. They have took my housing money, they have took my insurance money, my living expenses money, and then the 60 grand a year. I have not got it. And it needs to be reimbursed to me. And being a listed FBI informant, I can never get out. And it even says being in any witness protection programs, it's for life. That's where my one friend that worked at the prosecutor's office, it would be legal for the FBI to drop you for no matter what. Once you get put into a witness protection program, you can tell whoever you want and they can't say a word. It's who you feel comfortable. It's a freedom of speech. Okay. He said, and they can't drop you no matter what. Because somebody's tried to kill you. They have to keep you protected. It's a failure to protect as abuse and misconduct. He said they can move you to a different protection agency, but they have to let you know first. Nobody ever talked to me. I've never even been questioned of wrongdoing. I've never been prosecuted. I have never been found guilty of anything. See, in their sick little moronic world, they think they can kick in your door. They can come up to you and tell you, oh, we photoshopped a shower scene in the other room to make you look weird. Okay? And you're just looking at them like you're crazy. Well, you know all those bruises you had on your arms, your legs, and you were throwing up? It's like, yeah. Well, we were date rape drugging you. We lied. We had sodium pentothal. We told you to say weirdo stuff. And then you really were sick and you really were vomiting and you had real big bruises and you couldn't figure out if your husband at the time is beating your sleep. Why aren't you waking up? It's not funny being roofied. Do you understand? You have no memory. You're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. It's not funny to do that to a human being. Okay? And I'll tell you what, they had no right. And life in federal. And then they lied on my kids. My youngest son, that he was helping them with a shower scene in the other room and was going to lie. And I go to them and I'm talking to how they lie to people that I have charges and I've netted. They're like, well, Mom, you have your CCW, don't you? It's like, of course I do. And I said, sheriff in Tuscarawas County was still there. He's like, yeah, he had dyed his hair this funny color. And he's like, he made fun of my hair. And I said, he's a real sweetheart. I said, let's see. I still have my notary. I redid that where I did loan processing, and I told him about getting my med certs and how I work at a day hub and I work at home health care. And my daughter-in-law was like, you can't even have an accusation. Do these people not know what you do for a living? I said, I just passed another FBI background check, fingerprints and all. And I said, I call them the Pinocchio group and the YYY group. They just run around lying. She's like, Karen, anybody said that you did anything wrong, they would be a Pinocchio and they better have extra shorts. Because they would burst into flame as if you do anything wrong. These were supposed to be the people helping lie on me for them, and they knew nothing about it. Michelle's family is mentally ill. And even Dixie knew who Michelle was. The agent that called me back, like they said, November 6, 22, Central Baptist, okay? I'm in there. A lady comes in and said, Karen's going to be all right. We actually found the court order for the protective custody case. And they were talking about different things. And then one guy said, well, the agent that called her back was actually the one that told on her the night before. Actually, an officer verified he'd seen him do it, and he didn't tell on him before. And she's like, I thought they were getting blah, 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 gave him with her for saying something. And I told him, cut it out. None of this is funny. And he's like, no, that officer verified it was him before she even called him back. He went up and told Hunter. He witnessed it. See, he looks like Judge Timothy Ludick, and he's actually a Stark County sheriff because that agent works in the Stark County Courthouse FBI task force. That's where Will said he was at. And that's where he was so mean to me. I didn't even believe he was real. I had Googled the office and then found him there. I thought he was one of the Looney Tunes because you don't act like that. I actually can go to jail for acting that way and make me plead for my life like that, or and he was doing it on purpose so that he could put me in the the informant program, so he could embezzle over $250,000 into his film family's pocket of funds and assets. I'm probably not his only victim that he's extorted money out of the case, and yeah, I have never got my housing paid for. I've never got um, a medical card. I have never got any financial assistance. I've had to scrape by and even pull myself up and make myself go to work. And there was times I couldn't go to work because I was so hurt and damaged. And after being tortured, I couldn't even sit up for a while. It was taking everything in me, and I would just have to lay in bed. And then I had to go hungry because I didn't go to work. I have suffered horribly from this case. And then they made it public knowledge and publicly humiliated me for his family to embezzle money out of the U.S. government and out of the witness protection program. See, they can't even, they run around act like they can attach it. They can do all this stuff. Like, we can tell you someone broke in your door. We were photoshopping shower scenes. We broke in and date rape, drugged you, and told you to say this stuff. We enter in the court system. Nobody's ever talked to you. Never even questioned a wrongdoing. Never prosecuted. Never found guilty. Nobody's even talked to you. And all you had was bruises. And then we filed charges. We found you guilty. You've never even been talked to. That's Looney Tune stuff. That is not the legal system. That is a lie that it can do that. That is a bold-faced lie that can do that. That is not the legal system. And that they gave away money and I've never been talked to. They can't do any of that. They can't do any of that. That's why in the Portage County Courthouse records, the only thing is there is my divorce. That's why in Stark County, the only thing that is there is I had one traffic ticket in 89. That's why that main officer that went today, he told the North Canton Jackson police, the worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is bend over and probably we can wipe that one out. They only made fun of the back of my knees. They caught some old man walking up to me the first month of the case. For every idle word you're telling us, I'll turn it on you. You try to leave Dave, alias you're a child molester. I'm like, who are you? Who the hell comes up and says something like that to somebody? And you know that bruise on your leg? I'm like, yeah. And it was up here by my private area in my head. Great big one. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I use sodium pentothal on you. And you know what you told me? No, I've never talked to this man. He's admitting to breaking in my home, picking my bedroom lock, jabbing me with a date rape drug, and telling me to say this crazy stuff. You've been over improperly once wearing this one night gown and they accidentally seen your butt and you had a life of pain for it. I'll list your child molester from it. I got away from that prick. I went home, legally bugged house. I'm like, Dave, I always wore the grandma nightgown, underwear, and a house coat when the grandkids were over. I know that. I said leg and sweater or a house coat when the grandkids were over. I know that. Okay? I said, besides a grandma nightgown and some laces that I kept for you, everything else is brand new from last year. I know that. I didn't even own it years ago. Where Dave verified always decent, always modest. And he even admitted he knew I did nothing wrong. And I would never hurt anybody and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you've always been good to the kids, you've been good to the grandkids. He even defended me. And I taped him, of course, along with the police. Because when people are making up crazy crap like that, this is the COA, covering your own ass. Okay? So just verifying and just covering. And they already came up to me and they found the one set lying for Michelle to get the house. For the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Michelle, and Papa and Grandma needs to get out. And then they're making everything up to Flora. Giggle, giggle, giggle. The big fat liars that go to that occult. Yeah, and all the police know they lied. Several departments came up and said something to me, so. Well, I was in police protective custody. They're in a legally bugged house, and they get caught on Thanksgiving 18 giggling and laughing in the basement, like Sheriff John said. to some goons following me in January 12/22, 4:58 p.m. at Walgreens, North Main. What did those kids get caught stating? They made everything up. They did. They're documenting me. Games of pretend it's a mass, and police said. So I sound innocent of everything. My whole family spoke highly of me before. And so my family knew nothing of this. It would cost them federal prison, the life, if they knew they were embezzling funds from the government, under stalking and date rape, drugging, and kidnapping. Yeah, it'd be life in federal. Yeah. So it's a good thing they didn't know. All right. So, going forward, see, it's getting quiet out there. It's not as funny when they realize that agent for his daughter is embezzling funds out of the Informant Witness Protection Program. And they've stole over $250,000 out of my case alone. And when they think that they could get their Social Security, their SSI, or their VA benefits and extort it out of them, would they find it so funny? The whole thing of it is I'm just in a witness protection program that should have the government was supposed to be paying to take care of me. And yeah, and not me being horribly abused for his little fucking daughtery prostitutes out to people so that they can get more embezzlement money out of the government. They've embezzled over, you got to think of my 60 grand a year that he promised me. It's been over 4 years. There's 250,000 right there. My housing, I pay $660 a month here. I mean, we're talking like 26,000 right there in just housing without the utilities, without my car payment, and then all my medical bills. I mean, we're talking way over 300,000 in assets, and that, yeah, not counting the 18 grand in jewelry they pulled me out of under the threat of life of my granddaughter. That agent, like they said, everybody knew he was embezzling funds out of this case, and nobody said a word. They need to send somebody from out of this area. Everybody needs to be on the Department of Justice, FBI headquarters, and get down here. They all, somebody actually had enough nerve saying, well, some agent said he taped her. How would he tape me? How would he tape me? Why would I call the hotline? If I talk to an agent, why would I call the hotline? Exactly. I didn't talk to an agent before the hotline. Talked the hotline, then they drugged me up so bad I couldn't get out of bed. By then, he's up there telling on me for a stunt at Pamers. Told you, Stark County Sheriff verified. It looks like Judge Timothy Lulick. He could be as kid as that close, black hair, dark eyes, thick black glasses. And he showed up in his Stark County Sheriff's uniform, driving his Stark County Sheriff vehicle. And his mouth dropped open. He's really, I mean, looks like, think of the cooking guy show, round up his face real big, young and up, but then even make it heavier because it looks like somebody's been feeding him real well. So it's all about embezzling funds out of witness protection programs. They've got over $250,000. Like I said, they have paid out like $958 billion trying to protect people like me. So $250,000, they wouldn't even miss it. And I bet I am not his only victim that he's terrorized out of their housing, their income, their insurance. They're probably living in my free house. They're probably getting their free utilities on my behalf. They're probably getting their free, well, they work for the government anyways, but they are telling who they're letting use my insurance. I never got it. I've had to scratch and scrape. And I have been almost murdered. I've been drugged to the point I lost 70 pounds up there. If they actually pull that protective light case, because he had an officer talk to Dave, and he did put me in police protective custody September 27th, 18. And that is a legally bugged house. And I'll tell you what, Lamar Sharp, Michael Broswell, there was a bald Michael White with dark eyes that worked at CSA Bank on Whipple on 19 and 20. They know what officers were assigned to the protective custody case that they let him in the back, and I seen him walk out. because they wanted to make sure, see if they were even involved in this, because they let them in the back of the bank. Yeah, they actually even know who was assigned for security. And the heavyset white guy is the one, that officer that went to Dave, and they refer to him as officers. Because they already been telling people to stay, not to say anything to me. None of this is funny. They already know the tapes before were them and not me. Since like June. And here it is, November. See, that's where if they want to say that that agent was in it with that Eric that laughed at everybody for falling for this, and that it was all his idea and him doing it. I never talked to him before uh, before I called him back, and I tried, and he's the one that badgered me into a false statement, made me plead for my life. They're saying that's Michelle's dad, where they were saying it was Michelle's dad, and then they changed it to Judge Pete. Judge Pete's involved, but I don't know how, if it's just a friend, a family, or he fell for. But the agent that called me back is the one extorting money out of the case. And he's extorted over $350,000. And they need to make it right with me and put him in jail. Because the whole thing of it is, I never received anything. The only thing I got right now is there'll be some officer listening to me. The Stark County Sheriff's help work at Massillon Police, the Canton Police that work inside Walmart. They also help watch me. They walk out and say stuff. They tried to frame the Portage County Sheriffs. I went up and confronted them. Miss Hall, what these people are saying they did is illegal. And I did. The police and agencies can only be in a home under threat of life, and they have to speak to everyone before they start, or you can't. It's a Fourth Amendment. You can never look or listen. Yes. And then I told them about the shower scene, the day road dog. Miss Hall, what all these people are saying they did is illegal. Not one of our officers had any knowledge, nor were they ever in your home before. And what these people are saying they did is illegal. It is. It's entrapment. And then we've got stalking charges, da 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 da. Okay. So yeah, you want to say you don't want to hear something funny. I had my day program December 1st at the Stark County Museum on Market. Some ladies walk in where that girl had said that outside Altman Hospital, that her dad was doing it and she was dating Dave and it didn't matter. They come in and said, we all heard that girl admit that her dad was doing it to her. And it does too matter she was dating Dave. Yeah, it does. Pimping out his little 19, 20-year-old kid out there, prostituting her to a 60-something-year-old man so he can extort over $30 million out of the government in my funds, and then my housing and my insurance. This is how not funny it is. These people that are running around, they're actually the ones paying for it. Their tax money that they go to work every day, and they take a big chunk of their federal taxes. Guess what? You paid for that family to steal $350,000. And being an FBI agent, he makes over $100,000 a year. You don't need it. He's trying to make himself a multi-millionaire off of victims. He could steal the other people in this town, Social Security, SSI, VA benefits. What's the difference of stealing from that or somebody in a witness protection program? Victims are victims. Huh? Exactly. And they are government funds, and they are not allowed to be attached no matter when. And nobody's ever even questioned me. And there's no video of me sitting down with a person. Like that guy said, today in Wendy's in Alliance, December 2nd, 22, and said, that's that one that the church tried to have killed. He said, yes. And he said, no one's to say a word to her. He said, it's been that man embezzling money out of this case from the beginning, and nobody told on him. And that's exactly what's going on. He said, come on, let's go. Right in front of my day program. I'm so glad they didn't understand. Well, Wendy's in Alliance, you'll hear him say it. Plus, my phone's tapped. It's tapped from being an FBI informant. What part don't they understand? My whole life's bugged. And then this agent is so dirty, he sold the login to a police protected life case. They need to find out exactly who else he sold. Because what if somebody told on the mafia and he sold them out and they're waiting to take a good headshot at him? Dear God, they try to shoot me in the head a few times, these bastards. By the grace of God, am I still alive? I would like my money that he promised me. He's the one that told on me the night before. It's his daughter my husband was dating. Out of his area, picking my case, terrorizing me. Let me be raped, tortured, publicly humiliated so he could extort over $250,000 out of this case from our federal government. It's embezzlement against the U.S. government. It rates treason. They really want to go play with this how? Now I want you to think of November 1822 outside the hair salon. That Eric screaming at Walmart 62. It was my idea to say we taped her before. Ha 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 ha. For these people to fall for it. Ha 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 ha. And so they'd all turn on her, and it actually worked, and they actually fell for it. Ha 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 ha. And it was all me. I just like curl up in a ball. I've been fucking tortured. I just breathe. Just breathe. And there's a big old camera right in the hair salon and one right outside. And he's like, the guy's like, ha ha, if it was just you, I could even take care of it. He said, I know it's that bad. It was on me and only me, and they all fell for it, just like I planned. One of Michelle's creepy friends, or relatives. See, yeah. Now, I would like my money. I like my medical bills paid, and I would like better housing, and I want my living expenses paid, and I want the hell out of here. And someone needs to grab that agent that called me back. They already know he badgered me in a false statement. Dave was dating his daughter, and he's extorted money out of this case. And it's him. It's Michelle's father. Extorting money out of attempted murder out of the witness protection program. It's not the first time agents have went bad and extorted money. But it needs to be stopped. And I bet I'm not his only victim. Because the day that you say you were in my home, one day before he took my statement and agreed to protect me, and that officer talked to Dave, it's entrapment, it's automatic jail sentence. Even a local officer laughed at this and said it comes down to no matter what. It comes down to no matter what. Until that agent took your statement and agreed to protect you personally, there is nothing but special protected light cases. It's illegal to be in somebody's home, and it'd be illegal to look or listen. And so did the Portage County Sheriff, and so did Massillon Police, and on the Department of Justice. My one friend is a retired sheriff. He started laughing. And when I told him that guy was out there confessing to all that, he's like, the police grabbed him, right? I said, I don't know. I told him where to pull it. He said, are your police slow in your area or what? He said they should have grabbed him for confessing all those crimes. Yeah. I want you to think of that. Getting it? They should have grabbed him. And I've told him before, people mock him because they haven't, they get away with this. He said, I bet they do make fun of him. He said a local officer could have arrested him. I said, well, one's an FBI agent, one's a retired judge. He said, I don't care if it's a sitting judge and an FBI agent. They are not immune. And a local police officer can arrest them if they do crimes. They can. They lost their badge, their authority. The day that they committed a crime, they are not immune from prosecution. and they have to follow the law like everybody else. I wish somebody had